Hi and welcome back. This is Mark DeShepper with Echo GPR Services. In our previous videos, we've talked a little bit about what ground penetrating radar is, and we've talked about some of its applications in the construction industry. And today we're going to be talking about the benefits of GPR and why contractors are seeing it as an extremely valuable tool in today's construction process. Even though it's a relatively newer technology, the benefits that are being seen in job sites today are clearly showing its value in today's construction environment. As I earlier mentioned, contractors are seeing the use of GPR in their job sites as a very valuable tool. And I think it's important that we kind of go over what some of those benefits that they're seeing be discussed. One of the major benefits of using GPR is no matter what type of investigation is being done, it is a non-destructive means of doing investigation. Anytime you wanted to know what was buried underground, a lot of people would excavate. They'd use what tools were limited to them at the time, such as radio detection. But for those non-utility type of investigations, some of the older technologies weren't as useful as using ground penetrating radar. So if you're doing an investigation that would say, let's try and identify where an underground storage tank is. One of the great things is by rolling radar over your job site, it will quickly and accurately be able to identify if there are or are not tanks still underground. And the way of doing this by using radar is that non-destructive means. One of the things contractors really like is when we roll on a job site and we come off of a job site to collect that data and do that type of investigation. Unless we're specifically asked to put paint or flags on the ground, a lot of times you never know we were even there to begin with. And in investigations such as cemeteries, that also is extremely beneficial. One, that non-destructive investigation by not leaving anything behind is also very respectful of that investigation of the search for marked and unmarked graves or verifying location of graves. Other benefits that contractors have seen on job sites. One, the safety aspect of it. We might use the term hazard mitigation. Before you excavate on a job site, it is required by law that you contact your local one-call facility to provide utility locates. This legal requirement does not exist inside of buildings. So contractors have quickly realized the benefit of having that GPR done in front of sawing and drilling operations. The last thing anyone wants to do is drop a saw blade into the concrete and not know what is underneath them. That in and of itself has a serious risk potential, not just for the safety of the operators, but also the damage to the facilities. If you're working in a business office remodeling project and your office suite is in a strip mall connected with 6, 7, or 8 other facilities, if you accidentally hit an electrical line in your space, that does not necessarily mean it's not going to damage the utilities to the adjoining properties. So the damages that are prevented are not only to the damages prevented in your space, but they're also the damages that are prevented in adjoining spaces. Another benefit of using GPR is just the investigation side of it. We've already talked about the non-destructive nature of GPR, how it's useful, the safety of it, the hazard mitigation, but also just understanding what's going on underground prior to any construction project. And that investigation is really useful to our customers because one of the things we want to do is provide our customers with valued quality information to help them make smarter decisions. Knowing what's underneath, giving them that additional bit of knowledge can help them plan a project. One of the parallels that we use in GPR, we explain to our customers, are some of the same parallels that you would see in the medical profession. If you have something wrong with you, well, they don't go in straight with surgery. They want to know what's going on, so they run tests. Those tests include X-ray, MRIs. In the construction industry, that same parallel should be used. Before you put a shovel into the ground or drop a saw blade into the concrete, you want to know what's going on underneath it. And ground penetrating radar is one of those excellent tools for identifying any condition that's going on underground, whether it's locating utilities, conduits, identifying how something is built, identifying if there are voids underneath the ground. For a lot of our investigations, engineers rely upon us on a consistent basis to provide them sort of that X-ray image, that investigation of how things are built. This is usually a result of poor information, that they can't find drawings. They may not have the proper detail of how an old historic building was built. And so what we get brought in on is the investigation of the concrete to give the information to the engineer to help them understand how a slab is reinforced, what the structure of that is. One of the things we let people know is ground penetrating radar does not tell someone if something is or is not built correctly. What we try to do is provide engineers how something is built, give that valuable information to them, and then be that information gatherer so the engineer can then make a determination of, can a remodel support a new load on top of the roof? In a lot of what we do, our job is not just damage prevention, but it's also information gathering. This information is also important on the project planning of a construction project because knowing what information they need ahead of time can streamline the process later on. In a lot of project planning applications, we get brought in on job sites that construction may not even begin for a year or two. They may still be in the process of performing that investigation, performing surveys in which they're getting the information ready to go out to bid. In those cases, we are performing in front of professional land surveyors where we might be locating utilities, and then a survey company comes in following us and maps out everything that we've put onto the ground, so that way they can import all of that information that we provide into the drawings, so that way when the project does go out for bid, that the information that the construction companies use to bid off of is much more accurate. If these investigations are not performed, what contractors have found is they run into more problems than they were initially aware of. They might uncover unknown utilities, or that the drawings that they have been provided with are inaccurate, that the drawings may indicate a water line goes through an area in one location, and if they did not perform these locates ahead of time to verify these drawings, that the water line or the sewer line may in fact be in a different location. For a lot of projects, that we're involved in is not always new construction, but on the remodel side. We all have worked on projects in which there are additions to buildings being made. As I'm doing this video, we're right in the middle of the summer, and commonly our biggest projects going on right now are schools. And a lot of schools are looking to add wings or additions to their existing buildings. Those wings or additions are sometimes going to conflict with the existing infrastructure on a project. Knowing where those sewer lines and water lines exist may alter or change the project additions, so they know how to either work around, move, relocate, or tie into those known water lines. The summary of this video was to kind of go over some of the benefits on why our contractors see GPR as such a valuable tool. We've talked about its non-destructive nature, how it provides investigation into your job site before you begin operations, the hazard mitigation, the safety, project planning. Overall, to wrap it up, GPR is showing where it's being used on job sites, increasing the efficiency of the job. Knowing about stuff ahead of time, knowing what is there, what isn't there, what is improperly marked out on a drawing, increases the overall cost and value of a project, thereby increasing a job's efficiency. Thanks again for tuning into the channel. Please make sure you click that like and subscribe button, and be sure to comment below if there's anything else you would like to see on our channel. Also, make sure to visit our website at echogpr.com to further look into anything else that you would like to know GPR related.